This is lesson number 4, part 4. Now we will talk about communicating with other hams. Typical telephone conversations include a greeting, identify who is participating, exchanging information, generally taking turns, a salutation, and the end of a conversation. A typical ham contact, called a QSO or QSO, generally includes those same elements. Remember to speak clearly and distinctly. Ham radio is a giant party line where anyone and everyone can listen in, so choose your topics appropriately. We use phonetics to spell things out when copy is difficult. For instance, in place of AI6A, we would say Alpha India 6 Alpha. And don't forget to identify yourself every 10 minutes. We give the other station signal reports using the RST, Readability, Strength, and Tone method. Readability is 1 to 5. Strength is 1 to 9. Tone, for CW only, is 1 to 9. We could say your signal is 5.9 for single sideband or 5.99 for CW. Ham radio is self-regulating. There are ARRL official observers that monitor the ham bands. You can log your contacts on paper or on computer. Logging is a useful but not required activity. There are award programs if you send and receive QSL cards or use Logbook of the World. A band plan is a way of organizing the ham frequencies. Part of the band plan is formal and legal. Part of it is informal. Here is an example of the 2-meter band plan. As you can see, the band is broken up into segments. There are designated frequencies for FM simplex, packet, internet linking, etc. What is the term used to describe an amateur station that is transmitting and receiving on the same frequency? C. Simplex communication. What is the Q signal used to indicate that you are receiving interference from another station? The answer is A, QRM, or QR Mary as we call it. What is the Q signal used to indicate that you are changing frequency? B, QSY. What is a grid locator? The answer is A letter number designator assigned to a geographic location. The grid locator for my station in Waxahachie, Texas is EM12OK. When making contacts on repeaters, simply say your call sign to establish contact. On HF, call CQ, which means I am calling any station. Take turns when there are several people on the frequency, all a part of the conversation, and try to avoid breaking in on a conversation already underway. Nets are groups of operators on the same frequency for a common interest or purpose. If you are not using a repeater on 2 meters or 440 megahertz, good frequencies to use for simplex are 146.52 and 446.00 megahertz. What is the national calling frequency for FM simplex operations in the 70 centimeter band? The answer is D, 446 megahertz. What is the appropriate way to call another station on a repeater if you know the other station's call sign? The answer is B. Say the station's call sign, then identify your own call sign. For example, W1AW, this is AI6A. What should you transmit when responding to a call of CQ? C. The other station's call sign followed by your own call sign. For instance, W1AW, this is AI6A. What is the meaning of the procedural signal CQ? D. Calling any station. What brief statement is often used in place of CQ to indicate that you are listening on a repeater? B. Say your call sign, for instance, AI6A. What might be the problem if you receive a report that your audio signal through the repeater is distorted or unintelligible? The answer is D. All these choices are correct. A repeater is a specialized transmitter-receiver, usually interconnected by a computer controller. It is generally located at a high place. It receives your signal and simultaneously retransmits your signal on a different frequency, which dramatically extends the line of sight range if both users can access the repeater site. The term simplex means transmitting and receiving on the same frequency. Each user takes turns to transmit. It is the preferred method if it works. The term duplex means that it is transmitting on one frequency while simultaneously listening on a different frequency. Repeaters use duplex. The output frequency is the frequency the repeater transmits on and that you listen to. The input frequency is the frequency the repeater listens to and that you transmit on. The information that you will need to know to use a repeater are the output frequency, the frequency split, and any access tones. For instance, the local repeaters here in the Waxahachie area all transmit on 145.410 megahertz. All have a minus 600 kilohertz split, and all use different tones. In Waxahachie, the repeater tone is 162.2 hertz. For Midlothian, 110.9 hertz, and Ennis is 131.8 hertz. The splits, shifts, and offset frequencies are standardized to help facilitate repeater use. There are positive and negative shifts depending on the band plan. Different bands have different standardized amounts of shift. Sometimes multiple repeaters can be accessed at the same time unintentionally. To preclude unintentional access, some repeaters require a special subaudible tone to be present before the repeater controller will recognize the signal as a valid signal and turn on the repeater. These tones are called by various names depending on the equipment manufacturer. CTCSS stands for Continuous Tone-Coded Squelch System. PL, a Motorola trade name for CTCSS. Privacy codes or tones. DCS, Digital Coded Squelch. Which of the following stations transmit signals over the air from a remote receive site to a repeater for transmission? Answer C, auxiliary station. What is the most common repeater frequency offset in the 2-meter band? Answer B, plus or minus 600 kilohertz. What is a common repeater frequency offset in the 70 centimeter band? Answer A, plus or minus 5 megahertz. What term is used to describe the use of a subaudible tone transmitted with normal voice audio to open the squelch of a receiver? The answer is D, CTCSS. Which of the following common problems might cause you to be able to hear but not access a repeater even when transmitting with the proper offset? The answer is D. All of these choices are correct. Which of the following describes the common meaning of the term repeater offset? C. The difference between the repeater's transmit and receive frequencies.